Hi there, this is the Nothing Phone 3A, which I've been using for over 3 weeks now. And even though as creators, we have access to so many smartphones, this is the one I keep going back to. The reason is simple. The experience is way too good. Of course, it's not perfect or कोई भी phone perfect नहीं होता. But this one has that X factor which is undeniably very attractive. You keep this phone on a table and it will surely make heads turn. Same goes for the 3A, which also we have. Both devices are very similar except a slight change in the back design and a camera sensor. I personally see myself gravitating more towards the 3A Pro because it's got that non-conventional camera module which is non-symmetrical, not something we see on most phones. Yes, it's different and that's what actually makes it look so much more cooler in my opinion. Alright, before we talk more, let's get the unboxing out of the way. So here is the slim minimalistic box. Some manufacturing details. This is a 12 plus 256GB storage variant. Let's open it up. Inside we have another white box. Open the lid and you can see the 3A Pro phone here. Further we have a USB-C to USB-C cable, some paperwork that I'm sure no one reads, and a very unique transparent SIM ejector bin. By the way, you get to see the exact same contents in the 3A box as well. I would be lying if I said that I don't miss the charger in the box. It's kind of becoming a norm, but mostly we see this trend only in premium expensive phones. But I guess it's trickling down to even mid-range phones as well. Alright, let's come to my favorite part, the design. So we have the grey color variant and it's super eye-catchy. The transparent glass back with visible screws and circuitry make it so unique. Even though I've been using this phone for over 3 weeks, not even a single scuff or scratch on this phone, which says a lot about its build quality. It's 8.3 mm thin and weighs about 211 grams. The weight is very well spread, which is why it probably feels a lot lighter. You can spot 3 glyph lights on the sides of the camera module. Yes, there is a triple camera setup, 50 megapixel primary with OIS, 50 megapixel periscope with OIS, and 8 megapixel ultrawide. On the side are the volume rockers, power button on the other side with the essential key. At the bottom is the speaker, USB-C port, a microphone, and a SIM tray that can house dual nano 5G SIM cards. Sadly, there's no support for SD card expansion, so you should preferably pick the higher storage variant if possible. Special mention, the button placement is just perfect. I usually need to extend my fingers to reach these buttons, but nothing has placed them lower, so they can be reached more easily. Good job there. Let's talk about the camera. So here are some images taken with the rare 50 megapixel primary sensor. And I must say, nothing has tuned them extremely well. Balanced, not oversaturated, but still very crisp. The dynamic range is also pretty good. Details can be seen even in the shadows. Here are some ultra-wide shots. The clarity and the sharpness too is pretty good. The dynamic range could be a hit or a miss, but mostly still good. Here are some shots taken with the periscope sensor. This is with 3x zoom, 6x zoom. They're very well captured. Here's with 50x zoom. Now here, thanks to AI, it's able to generate more detail in them. Then here are some portrait shots. Good edge detection. Here's some food photography, and I know a lot of people love these. Then here's a 4K 30 FPS video recorded handheld. Thanks to OIS, it's pretty stable and crisp. Though I do miss it lacks 60 FPS, but still the quality is pretty good and reliable. Then here are some images shot from the front 50 megapixel Samsung sensor. Here too, the shots are pretty good. Natural skin tones with good amount of clarity. Here are some portrait shots. Excellent edge detection, creates that natural bokeh effect. Hi there! So here's a video recording from the front camera of the Nothing Phone 3A Pro. And this is a 4K 30 FPS video recording, which is pretty good for a front camera. It's a bright sunny day, so sometimes the highlights might get a little blown up, but still I would say the overall video quality is really good. Also, the audio that you're hearing right now is being recorded from the mics of this phone. The only difference between the 3A and the 3A Pro camera is that the 3A comes with a telephoto sensor, while the 3A Pro comes with a periscope sensor. The zoom capabilities on the Pro are definitely superior. Apart from that, the output is absolutely identical. In my opinion, the cameras on the Nothing series are very balanced. They don't knock it out of the park, but they still do a considerably good job considering the price. Further updates will make it only better. Coming to the display. So we get a 6.77-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 2392 by 1080 pixels. Excellent color reproduction, it's vivid, punchy with deep blacks. I'm glad to see symmetrical bezels on all sides, but I wish they were a little thinner. Not an eyesore though. On the top is a punch hole notch, housing the 50 megapixel front selfie camera. In-display fingerprint scanner does its job quite well at unlocking the device, and it's quite snappy. Then watching movies and videos are an absolute delight. Content goes edge to edge and looks so gorgeous. Netflix HDR support is available, so everything is bright and super crisp. Then we also tested the YouTube app. We see HDR support here as well and couldn't have asked for more. 4K 60 FPS videos play without any lag or stutter. Just keep enjoying content to its fullest. When it comes to the audio, we get dual stereo speakers on both these phones. There's one speaker at the bottom and the earpiece on the top doubles as a secondary speaker. Let's see how it sounds. Wow, I must say special attention has been given in the audio department. High fidelity audio, it gets loud, it's very clear and sounds so rich. Dialogue clarity, and especially with the dual stereo speakers, it provides an immersive movie watching experience. Let's talk about the biggest leap to the boring Android OS. Nothing OS which looks nothing like any other phone. I think it eliminates all the clutter, making it simple and so much more cleaner. Check that out. I've always been a fan of monochrome icons. Of course, you can still turn them on to the regular icons if you want to. Yes, it's running the latest Android 15. There you go. Nothing claims 3 years of Android updates with 4 years of software patches. Alright, let's have a quick look at the interface. So as simple as it looks, it actually grows on you. This is not just an Android skin, but a deep integration of the Nothing experience. Also, I must add, the software is extremely well optimized. The app's opening animation, the smoothness, the unlocking and locking animation, they're all next level, especially considering it's not actually a flagship processor. The truth is, the user experience is one of the biggest reasons I keep going back to this Nothing phone. I can tell you it's almost flawless. Also glad to share there are almost zero bloatware apps. Some Nothing apps, all Google apps, and that's it. Nothing knows it's important to keep it clean. Super duper impressive. Alright, let's talk about the Glyph interface. Well, for those who don't know, it's a feature that utilizes the light strips on the back to provide you visual cues, notifications, call alerts, and more. I've had mixed feelings about it. Some things are very useful, some things are unnecessary. There is a long list of things it can do, which I'm sharing on the screen here. Use it for a timer, use it for a volume indicator, music visualization, and so much more. Gimmick or actually fun, well, that depends on how you use it. If you don't wanna, you can easily toggle it off from the control center. Also, for those who are thinking if these Glyph lights would impact my battery life, well, frankly, I didn't see any significant impact on the battery life. Coming to the performance. So the Phone 3a and the 3a Pro are both running the Snapdragon 7s Gen 3 chipset, which I must say performs absolutely to the next level. It responds like a flagship, and trust me, even after using it for weeks, it performs just as snappy. Nothing truly understands software, which is what makes it a delight to use. The unit we have came with 12GB LPDDR4X RAM with 8GB RAM booster feature, which is actually virtual RAM expansion, giving you a total of 20GB RAM on board. Apps launch almost instantly. Multitasking is such a breeze. And since there is abundance of RAM, most recently used apps are still in memory. Check that out. Then we also ran the Antutu benchmark and it scored at 7,89,000, almost 8 lakh, which is pretty decent. Now, considering this phone comes with a mid-range chipset, it'll blow you away when it comes to gaming. We played everyone's favorite BGMI and we got 120 FPS. Oh boy, just unbelievable how smooth it feels. By the way, make sure you enable the game mode for this best experience. Now, overall the gaming was smooth, but yes, it did heat up to some extent, and that's when you saw some drop frames. But still, I can assure you it was completely playable. However, I suggest you tone down the graphics setting to 90 FPS, which is a sweet spot, and the experience will be better than most flagship phones. I actually started playing BGMI more often than ever before because it was so smooth. Amazing gaming experience, I would say. Coming to the battery. So the Nothing Phone 3a and the 3a Pro both come with 5000 mAh battery that would easily last me a full day, and I think for most users they would even get 2 days with always on mode turned off. It supports 50-watt charging, though there's no charger in the box, so we are using our own, which took about 20 minutes to charge from 0 to 50% and about an hour to charge to 100%. I would have preferred a little faster charging, but that's what Nothing is offering at the moment. Alright, final thoughts. If you look just at the specs, I can assure you there are other phones in the market with similar specs at lower price. But here, the experience is what actually matters, and especially in that day-to-day use. Nothing offers excellent software experience, a big gorgeous AMOLED display, a full day's battery, reliable cameras, and a design that's super eye-catchy. No one like this other before. Most other phones nowadays just look like clones of each other, but there's absolutely nothing like Nothing. The 3a starts at $24,999 while the 3a Pro starts at $29,999. If experience is all that matters, then the Nothing phone is what you should go for. I'll share the links of all the variants along with all its color options below in the description of both these phones. If you'd like to buy one, you should definitely check this out. So I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until next time, cheers.